History often remembers America's industrial giants as larger than life figures, visionaries, rebels, empire builders who reshaped the world with steel, oil, ships, electricity, and sheer will. But behind every monument, every fortune, every rising city skyline lies a hidden story. Stories of private obsession, secret failures, scandals quietly buried, and personal battles that shaped the country in ways most people never hear about. Today, we open the forgotten chapters of America's most powerful pioneers. Welcome to American Titans Untold. Between the Civil War and World War II, America transformed faster than any nation in history. New wealth appeared almost overnight, rail lines snaked across the continent, cities rose from farmland, fortunes were made and lost at impossible speed. Most people know the names Rockefeller, Carnegie, Ford, Vanderbilt, Morgan, Kaiser. But behind these icons were hidden motivations and complex personal lives that rarely make textbooks. This era wasn't just about innovation, it was a pressure cooker that chiseled people into titans or crushed them entirely. Henry J. Kaiser, the man who built the impossible. Henry Kaiser is often remembered for his shipyards and his role in building the Hoover Dam, but few know what drove him or what he feared. Kaiser wasn't born wealthy. He didn't train as an engineer. He started as a photographer, then a hardware merchant, then somehow became one of the most powerful builders in the world. Behind the scenes, Kaiser carried a relentless anxiety. He believed America was almost always on the brink of collapse, economic collapse, military collapse, social collapse. That fear shaped him. He built more ships during World War II than any man alive, sometimes launching a ship every 5 days. In meetings, he often refused chairs for his executives, forcing them to stand to keep conversations short and decisions fast. Late in life, he purchased a quiet retreat on Lake Tahoe, Florida Lock, where he hosted scientists, politicians, and military planners. He believed the next war would be won with speed, secrecy, and radical innovation. Some say his lake estate became a quiet think tank, a place where ideas were drafted in private and never spoken of publicly. Andrew Carnegie, The Gospel of Wealth and the Weight of Guilt. Andrew Carnegie preached philanthropy. He spent the last decades of his life giving away 90% of his fortune, building libraries, universities, and foundations. But what people often forget is why. Carnegie carried deep guilt over brutal labor practices in his steel mills, especially the violent Homestead Strike of 1892. Behind closed doors, he kept journals confessing his remorse. He wrote, "I shall spend the rest of my life atoning for the wrongs of capital." Carnegie died known as a generous benefactor, but in private, he feared history would judge him differently, and he tried to outrun that judgment with charity. Cornelius Vanderbilt, the empire built on fury. Cornelius Vanderbilt was not a gentleman. He rose from ferry boat operator to railroad king with a combination of ruthlessness, intelligence, and an almost volcanic temper. Vanderbilt had a simple philosophy. You don't build an empire by asking permission. He ran his companies from the deck of his personal yacht, writing orders on slips of paper, firing executives in seconds, and winning lawsuits so aggressively he became the model for future monopolists. But his private life held a quieter tragedy. He distrusted almost everyone, even his own children. His last years were spent trying to choose a successor he didn't fully believe in, knowing his death might shatter the empire he'd built with his own hands. He wasn't wrong. Ford, genius, contradiction, and the war against his own success. Henry Ford revolutionized the world, but his greatest enemy was often himself. He despised Wall Street, he distrusted education, he fought against labor unions even while paying high wages. He wanted progress, but feared losing control of it. Ford secretly funded experimental communities, spiritual projects, and social campaigns, many of which failed quietly. His personal journals reveal a recurring fear that machines would outgrow humanity, that the system he created would become too powerful to reverse. Late in life, Ford became obsessed with finding the essence of life, researching soil, plants, and even metaphysical theories, hoping to understand what truly fueled human progress. His son Edsel felt crushed under the weight of his expectations. Edsel's early death devastated Ford and shifted the entire future of the company. Behind the Model T was a man at war with his own inventions. The secrets they took to their graves. Every Titan left behind mysteries, hidden archives, lost letters, unfinished projects, rumored affairs, sealed vaults, and decisions that changed the world but were never recorded. Historians still search for Kaiser's missing Tahoe documents, Carnegie's rumored secret autobiography, Vanderbilt's hidden investments, Ford's lost experimental recordings, Rockefeller's private health journals, J.P. Morgan's untracked art collection. These men shaped America but rarely showed the world who they really were. Their legacies are grand, their stories complicated, their truth unfinished. Great power always casts a long shadow, but behind every steel mill was a town that depended on it. Behind every shipyard was a generation that lived and died for long hours and low pay. Behind every skyscraper was someone whose dreams didn't survive the climb. The Titans gained wealth, influence, and legend, but they also left uncertainty, inequality, and turbulence in their wake. And yet, their inventions built modern life. Their industries connected cities, their ideas reshaped the world. They were flawed, brilliant, relentless, and deeply human. When we look back on America's industrial giants, we often see only the monuments, the dams, the ships, the towers, the wealth. But behind these monuments are the stories of people who grappled with fear, ambition, guilt, obsession, and legacy. The Titans built the world we live in, but the cost of that world is still unfolding. Thank you for joining today's episode of American Titans Untold, where history lives in the quiet spaces between what we remember and what we forget. For more documentaries and hidden history, subscribe and explore the untold stories that shaped the modern age.